What's happening everyone? We're back today with another video on the ST. Today we're going to be painting the brake calipers and we're going to be fitting some EBC braided hoses. I had some spare calipers off an ST150 for another one of my projects that you'll probably see sometime this year. I've painted two of them, but obviously, unfortunately the other two, one of them the paint reacted funnily and I couldn't be bothered to strip it, so I'm just going to sandblast them and do them properly for the next car. And the other one had a seized piston in it, so we just left it, and they'll be getting a rebuild at some point, because I'll just swap over the calipers that I'm not using from this car, because believe it or not, they are actually the same. But getting to the point, we are going to be doing that today. So what I'll be doing is I'll be starting off with the calipers that haven't been painted, because we're actually going to paint the ones that need painting on the car, because I can't be bothered taking them off and waiting. I mean, the other two are still kind of tacky to say the least. I probably didn't put enough hardener in the paint, but they've been drying for what, about 2 days now, so they'll be getting another layer once they're fit to the car as well. We're going to try and make a nice job of it. We're going to change all the bleed nipples as well, new sliders and stuff like that, just try and make a nice job of it. But yeah, let's get to it. Okay, so once you've got all the wheel off and stuff like that, we'll just start with the passenger side. We'll get it to full lock, which I'll just quickly do now and prop you guys up. Like that. Okay, the brakes are quite nice and simple on this car, to be fair, they're not too strenuous. So it's just literally this spring here, which we'll be cleaning up and just making it look nicer. So all we've got to do for that is this little screwdriver inside, and it should ping out like that. If it doesn't, then just do the same on the other side and it'll work. And then there you go. The only tricky part now that the calipers are going to be painted is obviously putting it back on, but again, we'll just mask the caliper up so we don't scratch it or anything like that. And then you'll see two little covers here. Just get your nail or a screwdriver, whatever, just pull them off. Okay, and then 7mm Allen key. You could either just use it on a socket or just a regular Allen key. They're normally not too tight. Take the extension off, don't really need it. And the trick to getting these out is just twist them and pull at the same time, which I'll show you once I take the actual socket off the ratchet. You can see now it's starting to come out. Depends how sticky these ones are. Okay, so let's get the socket off. And there you have it, just literally just pull like that with twisting and they'll just come out. What I'm going to do is, because we're taking the lines off today, I'm just going to put one back in just so I can get enough tension to take this little hose off here just to crack it, and then we'll worry about the hose up here. Okay, just a quick update, nothing too strenuous, just a quick 11mm spanner to just crack it off the caliper. As you can see, moves nicely now, and then just ram a flathead in there, and then it will go into this little notch here, and then just lever it out, and then just get a pair of side cutters or something like so. Just give it a little wiggle, and hopefully it should sort of free itself from the actual brake hose itself. There it can be a pain, so I'm just going to put the camera down and then we'll show you the next step once it's out. Okay, so that clips off now, and you just literally pull this out just by pulling it up through. If the bracket is slightly bent, just tap it back in place, not a problem. Okay, so now we want to disconnect this brake line up here. Again, it's another 11mm. There is a little thing at the bottom of it around here, which normally you do counter it with your spanner, but again, if it's freely rotating like my one is, don't worry about it, just keep doing it. It's just a risk of kinking the pipe if it is quite tight. And then once it's out, there's another little one of these clips, just pull it out and then this whole assembly should come off. The caliper that I've got for this side is already somewhat painted, just probably needs like another coat, so I'll leave this side on and just pull the whole thing off as a unit, and then we'll fit new caliper, new lines, and then we'll move to the other side. So I'll quickly just buzz through this, get it all off, get the carrier prep for paint, which I'll show you what to do. I mean, the paint that I've got just tells you to literally wire brush it, clean it, bang a bit of paint on it, so that's what we'll be doing. It's nothing too strenuous. So once we've done that, once we've got all this off, and I'll show you what we need to do for this. Okay, so as you can see now, brake pipe's off, and it's not dripping lovely brake fluid on the floor. Okay, so we've got slider pins just still in, but it doesn't matter. And all you want to do to push the piston back on these is just literally just lever inside here. I'm just going to put this down and prop it up, so hopefully you'll be able to see, which you probably won't be able to, so I'll put it just okay, should be enough. Okay, so that will come off now. Pad literally just clips in with a spring, so you literally just get it either end with your fingers, like so, and just pull. But yeah, as you can see, the piston's pressed in now, so we'll quickly just ping this pad off here, which is literally just a case of doing that, pull. Okay, so that's all done now. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put the new EBC line on, clean all this area out with brake cleaner, and then I will be just wire brushing this area here, getting it ready to be painted, and yeah, we'll just go from there. Really a decent sort of finish, to say the least. I just want them having sort of presentable, nothing too crazy. Just give them a quick wire brush. Okay, so that's the first one done, carrier wise anyway. Probably just need a little bit more up here. But yeah, all I'll recommend is when you're doing this is literally two things. Don't get any brake fluid on your paint, because it's literally classed as a paint stripper, so it will rip it off. So just bear that in mind if you want, like, wear gloves, so if you don't touch nothing, it won't affect the paintwork, because I have seen cars with handprints in them due to the brake fluid eating through the lacquer. And two, any mounting points, so bolting the caliper to the carrier, make sure they are not painted, because what you'll find is over time And I mean, it won't take very long. You'll find that the caliper will come loose because it's actually wearing the paint off due to vibration. And all you've done is torqued up to the actual paint. So keep them areas bare. It won't affect it at all because you've got another surface pressed up against it tightly. Okay, so got the EBC brake lines on and the caliper painted. Just realised that I actually did thread in the wrong one before I actually fitted it all together, so I just quickly swapped it back over. It was just literally this one here, so it's not a problem. But yeah, we're just gonna do that, and then just gotta nip this one up, sorry, at the top, and then we'll go on to assembling the other side, painting that caliper, and then by the time we've done that, hopefully this is sort of starting to become touch dry now, which is nice. So I'll hopefully be able to put another layer on top of that. That's had its second coat, so that's not a problem. So just be one coat on the caliper, give it some time, and I'll come back out, do another coat on the other caliper, and hopefully we should be able to put the wheels back on tonight for the front. And then because we're losing daylight now, I'm not going to bother doing the rear. I'd rather just come out tomorrow morning and do it. It's not a problem, I've got the day off, so that's what we'll be doing. Okay, so haven't got this side bolted up yet, but all I'm going to do is, don't worry, I'll be cleaning all these lines afterwards because they are a bit grim where I've been touching them. But what I'm just going to do now is just nip this line up, which is just literally 11 and a 17, no problem at all. Nip this line up, which is just an 11, and then I'll just route it through to the shock, like so. And then we will just get a little clip and bolt it down. So I'll quickly just do that and we'll go from there. So it's pretty self-explanatory. I don't really need to show you this sort of side of it. Like it's pretty simple, it's not difficult at all. Like if you had the other style, then yeah, because you've actually got to thread the caliper on to the standard style hose, and then you got to fit it onto here and then do it to there. But again, we're not doing that, so it's just literally a case of routing your hose correctly so you're not kinking it, and then fitting it, and that should be it. So I'll quickly do that, and then we'll just add another layer of paint to the actual caliper, and we should be good to go. Okay, so the other spring's still dry, and I literally just rattle can it in black, nothing too crazy. But yeah, so we've got two holes here, so you just literally want to basically insert one of them into the hole with this edge round here. It's pretty much easier if I just show you. Everything's still going to be a bit wet, I know it is, so it's going to be a bit of a shit. Okay, so this is how you want it, nice and flush. As you can see, I've chipped a bit of paint off, but I'll just touch it in, it's not a problem. But yeah, you just need to sort of give it a little bash. But the main objective is literally just getting this area round here on the outside, getting the two prongs into the hole, and then twisting these parts round. Okay, so it's the next day. I've literally just done one side because it took quite a while yesterday. as you can see, it's nice and blue. It did rain last night, as you can probably tell, so sort of had to go over these again, but not a problem. We should hopefully be putting the wheels back on today and it should be done, so no dramas there. But to do the rear, it's not much different from the front, to be fair, so we'll just quickly go through this. I'm not going to be sort of pissing around too much with it, if I'm honest with you. So little screwdriver into the clip. Let's just get it sort of loose. And you want to try and sort of, that's it, get behind it, just lever it out. So that's that. Okay, I've left the nipple off, so that's why it's just dripping fluid on the floor. Not ideal, I know, but it doesn't matter too much. Don't really care, to be fair, either. Just wash it away with water. That's the best way to clean brake fluid. Okay, so little pipe down here where my finger is, a little nut for it, which is an 11mm. Just get a spanner on it there. These are quite tight, so let me just prop you down. Fucking hell, that one's tight. Okay. Just gives that a little wiggle, and that should come out now. It's clipped in here as well by a grommet. Just pull that out, just clips in there. So that's one brake cable, or brake hose I should say. Okay, so get caliper off. It's a 15 on the actual slider, and then a 13 here. Sometimes you don't need it, but sometimes the slider likes to grip. You can take the handbrake cable if you want, light off and stuff, and paint all the bracket behind, but I'm not going to be doing that because my ones are pretty rusty and the other side proved to be a bit of a pain, so I can't be bothered really piss-arsing around with that today. But to get the caliper off, you just want to lever it as best as you can. It will put up a fight if you have spacers on like I do, but bit of persuasion will get it off, and then just swing it over and round and you should be fine. So get your pads out and all that stuff. So all I'm going to do now is just pull these sliders out because I'm changing those as well. God, this one's stuck, so yeah, it looks pretty rusty if you ask me. It's got a bit of copper slip on it, but not great. Not great at all. It's fine though, we've got some new ones. We'll be putting some fresh grease in them, so it's not a problem. Okay, so Now we're just gonna wire brush, put my knee on that so it doesn't rattle and annoy me. Just wire brush this carrier up. I'm just going to paint this now, and then we'll be back with a little update. Okay, so just to let you know, we're back together now. Just bearing in mind when you put the caliper on, the pads do have like these little springs in them. You can see that rod there. So it is quite tight. I mean, someone who's pretty strong probably won't have an issue, but I always find this side's tighter than the other side for some reason. But yeah, I've got the EBC lines and all that stuff back on now. It's just literally the same reverse order. There's no point really filming it, but that's all done now. So I think it's time that we bleed the system and actually get some brakes back in. So that's what we're going to be doing next. All I need to do now is just fit the spring to the front calipers, because I left them off because I wanted to paint them black. But all I'm going to do is I'm just going to get them springs put on, which ain't too difficult to do. Just hopefully that the calipers are dry at the front, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I've bled all the car. I couldn't even bother to film none of it. It's cold out here and I was getting a bit pissed off, to be fair. I've test drove it now and it's all okay. So we're just going to go through like what you need to do when you come to bleed it. So I'll always recommend you got to fill it up to the top, obviously, of brake fluid. Self-explanatory really why. And the reservoir is on the driver's side, so like it will be in front of where I'm sitting now. So you want to start on the passenger rear, because it's the longest path for it to travel, which will remove most of the air from the system because you'll be pumping all of it out. So just bear that in mind, because if you do it like that, so if you go from passenger rear, then passenger rear to driver's rear, then passenger front to driver's front, you'll find that it'll get easier to bleed as you go along and will take less time. And not only that, it's just the correct way to do it. So yeah, that's all. Just follow that. Obviously I was able to actually get someone to pump the pedal for me in the end, rather than having to get all the compressor set up and pressure bleed it. So a bit easier for me on that note, having to get all the equipment out. But yeah, we'll just do a quick like walk around of the car so you can actually see what it looks like now. But yeah, I'm really happy with it anyway. So if you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.